Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here. So we're back in Factorio. We're going to get into this. We've got the goal of building better base defense, so we're going to research this gun turret. Now, one problem with gun turrets, we're also going to get a bunch of wooden barricades. One problem with gun turrets is they take lead to produce, but also the ammo takes lead to produce. So in order to get ammo for our gun turrets, we have to get a lead set up. Also, in order to get lead for just the gun turrets in general, we have to get some kind of lead set up, because we have to smelt, of course, the ore to get the plates. So we finished researching that technology. Now we're going to just get some wood here for more barricades to kind of help us wrap around our base here. Just want to get it all nice and clean in this pathway, because that's where a lot of the biters come from. At this point, we build something a little bit later when we go to get the lead that the biters go after more heartily. But we're going to research everything. I kind of started to research everything that just was basic tech cards, because we had that automated, but then a little bit later on I decided against it. I'm just going to store this alien ore in our hub here, trash those sparkle trees once again, and just kind of pick up some things that I needed. Aluminum plates, put a chest down that I forgot the last video for the automation cores that was broken. Just kind of going through it here. We're going to actually, let's see, we're restocking our furnaces, and I'm going to make a few, see, another attack that we didn't know was coming, because I think we were in the middle of an attack at the end of the last episode, but it was like, it's one of those where they attacked us and then retreated, but then before, when I exited the game and ended the episode, they had been retreating, but they hadn't come back to attack us again yet. So that happened there. We're going to fix these barricades they destroyed here. And we were just going to add a couple more miners to the aluminum here, so that we can get faster aluminum production. Like I said, we have to go get lead stuff now. I decided to cancel some of the stuff we don't need, but we definitely need the walls, and we definitely need the crusher. So I'm going to kind of be I'm adding a couple of labs here to our research facilities. Just to help us research things faster, because I noticed the crusher is taking a long time to research. So let's make one lab. I need to gather some more materials. I need more aluminum plates for another lab. So I'm going to grab that. Here we go. Just waiting on those to finish crafting. And now we've got 2 extra labs. We're going to double our production of, not double our production of research, but double our consumption, I guess. Just basically double our researching speed here. Go ahead and add a couple of inserters to allow those research tech cards there to get between the 2, or all 4 labs. Alright. Kind of rearranging some of the barricades here, make it a little bit better for us. Kind of, instead of having separate sections, we're going to connect it all into one big base, so that even though we have, you know, these conveyor belts, because at the moment all these conveyor belts and stuff are not protected, but with this new way of setting out these barricades, they will all be protected. So we're just going to do that, and at some point in the future we will definitely replace these barricades with stone walls. But at the moment, we're just going to be doing just barricades. And I realize at this point I'm a little too high, so I go back and delete those barricades. I really should be using ghost mode to place some of these things, but that's okay. So while we're sitting here, we're just going to continue to do barricades, break barricades, and place more. I just wanted to thank you all so much for the support I've been seeing through this series. I've been seeing a lot of views on these videos compared to what I usually get, so I really appreciate that, and definitely that gives me motivation to continue these. Once again, I'm going to try to do these every day, but if I don't make it every day, definitely I apologize. I do have, of course, my family and everything else as well to consider. My son is about to turn 4 months old here, so he's getting a lot more active and a lot more vocal. So it's hard to get to a time where I can just record quietly, where the whole house is quiet, especially with the dogs as well. We've got 2 of them, so they run around here and are scratching and itching all the time and jingling their collar tags and everything. So it's just better to leave it to be able to do this when everything's quiet and it's hard to find that time. So I just accidentally deleted our automation core assembler. But anyway, once again, I wanted to just say thank you everyone for watching these videos. It definitely, I definitely appreciate it. So I'm gonna continue this series as much as I can, and I've gotten a few more subscribers. This is actually video number 100 for my channel, and so that's kind of a large milestone for me. Also, from the last video, I have 25 subscribers, so that's pretty cool too. Now, I'm not necessarily going to do too much different in the way of that, but I do want to do something, some kind of acknowledgement for that. So because of that, I changed the channel backdrop and logo and everything. So if y'all go to my channel page, you'll see that. Kind of updated it because I'm not just doing, I'm not focusing just on Minecraft content anymore, especially with Factorio being my big series right now. I wanted to kind of reflect that it's not just about Minecraft, so I got rid of the diamond blocks, diamond ore blocks in the background of my logo, and I also got rid of my Minecraft face. It was actually a very old version of my Minecraft skin. That was my profile picture, so I switched them out to just being the channel logo on kind of a textured black wooden plank background almost. So I hope y'all like that. I used, by the way, for anyone wondering, I used Blender to create that channel logo so long ago when I still had the files, and so I went ahead and just took those files, took that Blender file and adjusted it to where the logo was on a different background and changed the lighting a little bit. So yep, I definitely hope you guys enjoy those new graphics, and if there's anybody that knows how to do graphics better than I do, absolutely, if you feel like doing something for me, that would be cool. I don't have necessarily any income to pay you with, but if you feel like it, definitely I would appreciate that. But obviously I can do them somewhat on my own at the moment just for my purposes. So but yeah, anyway, that invitation is out there. But yeah, I definitely appreciate all of you all watching these videos. It's so great to see. I think, yeah, we're about to be attacked again. At this point, they're still coming from the southeast there, so we're just continuing to watch that. But we don't, I never know when I'm actually playing this where they're coming from, but that's the best guess I have. You can see them gathering down there on the map, and you saw those little red dots there. I might actually see if I can go back and zoom in on that in editing here, but I may or may not be able to. We started to see some larger enemies in this wave than typically. Than before. We usually all we get is the little tiny spitters and stuff, but we actually got some bigger biters this time. Also, we have these things now. They've been here, but we just didn't bother going to them. They are actually remnants of old bases and stuff that are left on the world, and we can get some pretty cool resources from those that maybe we wouldn't have typically. So like in this case, solar panels and lamps are things that we're unable to get on our own right now. So being able to just walk over to that little base area and grab them is pretty cool. So we're still getting attacked. These waves are getting very large now. That's why we really need to focus on this base defense thing, and that's why I really wanted to do that at the beginning of this episode. So the evolution is constantly ticking up, and we have to watch out for that very closely. So we're going to walk back to base here. I'm kind of just looking to see if I see any more biters down there trying to come and attack us. And they did a little bit of damage to this corner, and then I guess they decided to leave and come after me instead of after the base, which is interesting. Typically, they'll just continue to break the base down, but they decided to come after me this time, which was a little bit different. And we actually have our silica is clogging up one of our aluminum furnaces. So I tried to fix that and put a little bit. I should have just, at the time, I didn't think about it, but I should have just split the silica stack into two, and it would have given me 2 slots. But instead, I just waited until it clogged up the furnaces again after filling up the chest, and then put another piece in there. But yeah, I really should have just taken that 1 stack and split it into 2, and it would have fixed the issue. I readjusted these the barricades there for the aluminum people because they were starting to not be able to get to where they needed to go. We're going to research natural gas extraction. Those little fireballs you see on the ground there, that's natural gas, and we can actually harness that, and we have to harness that in order to make plastics, which is something we need to get for the logistics tech cards, but we'll talk more about that in the end of the video. So at the moment, I'm going over to these little bases I saw on the map, getting the little bit of resources. There's a chemical plant here and a few tanks and pipes, as well as some lamps. So we're going to pick those up just to have for later. You'll hear the repair sound sometimes, and that's when I pick up something damaged. It will actually repair as it goes into my inventory, and it does not take any damage off of, or use it. As far as I know, it doesn't take any durability from my repair packs there. So that's something very good. That means that if anything is damaged, if we just want to fix it, we can just delete it and replace it. Of course, for something like an assembler or something, it's a lot more easy, so I just picked up some uranium, which is why I was irradiated for a second. I dropped it so that we don't have that issue. 3 uranium ore is not going to get us anything in the long run, but you see we got some Cobrex refineries there, so that will be definitely useful in the far future, not anytime soon. But we're going to go down here to the lead and start to get that situated because we need that lead for base defense, and that's our goal right now, is to set up our base defense. So we're going to actually have to clear out this forest here because the lead is actually underneath the trees. So this is another handy use for our mining vehicle, which we still have because I've been deleting it so that the biters cannot destroy it. So we're going to clear out this lead patch and build up a little bit of a lead mining facility. Now we could have just placed a mining depot and they would have then continued to mine even though the trees were there, but I like our mining areas to be kind of clean, so I just wanted to get rid of those trees there. So we're now going to build that mining depot, build a couple of drones to go in it. One issue we have to keep attention of at this point in the game, and I think for the rest of the game, I'm not sure. Haven't gotten too... I've gotten a good ways through this mod pack on my own time, but not completely all the way through, so I really don't know if recipes really get much better. I can always look in the FNEI up there to tell, but one thing at the moment, though, we have to deal with, and that's one thing that I've noticed with a lot of the recipes, is that the recipes, when you do this mod pack, it kind of starts out with recipes that give you unwanted stuff. Like you notice how the aluminum ore to alumina recipe gives you silica as well. And so right now, when we do lead plates, it actually creates copper ore as well as lead plates. So we then have to take the copper ore and use it for something or trash it somehow. And of course, with Factorio at the moment, I think there might be a way to do it in this mod pack, but I'm not sure. But anyway, there's not really a good way to trash items, which is something that should really be added to the game. But anyway, so we're creating not only lead here, but also copper ore. We're going to run a power line back to our base. We run out on the last pole, so we have to make a few more power lines here. I think it's the sparkle tree, but then I realized, oh, hey, there's the ghost indicator. We're just out of power lines. So I make some more, place one down. That's that. But at this point, I don't realize until I look at the recipe, hey, we're actually going to get some copper ore from this. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I have to deal with that because I remembered it from the last playthrough that I did on my own. And it's actually a 1 to 2 copper ore per recipe of lead plates, which means we're going to get a ton of it, a lot more than we are silica of from the aluminum ore. So that means it's not something we can just let sit there in the chest, because it's going to clog up our chest, keep us from making nearly as much lead plates as we need to. So I decided to place some furnaces. We're actually going to smelt that copper ore into copper plates. I wanted to look at the gates here, because gates are very useful for getting in and out of the base, and unfortunately there's no easy way for us to do that right now except to break down a barricade or leave one open, and that obviously any that you leave open is a way that the biters are going to go for first. So you see I just fixed our aluminum, the silica chest there. I'm going to just sit over here and grab a bunch of aluminum plates from this conveyor belt. And trust me guys, not in this episode, but sometime soon, we're going to get this belt spaghetti fixed up, because I'm tired of it too. We're going to have to, right now we're just working towards getting things a little bit better. There were also a couple of conveyor belts we just replaced, because apparently they had been broken and I didn't realize them at the time. But anyway, we're going to fix that. But yeah, so we're actually setting up a quick assembler here to make stone walls, so that we're just going to make one stack of stone walls at a time, and I'll pick up a couple stacks here. That way we've got, once it makes a stack, I'll pick up a stack. But that way we've got enough stone walls to replace all our barricades at some point and to continue building on the base. But for now, we're going to leave it as wooden barricades, and we'll make an opening right there for us to walk down here through. And this is actually going to remain separate from our main base for now, because it's so far away. So now we're going to smelt this copper ore into copper plates, and then we're going to put them back into chests right next to the lead plates, so that we can just have some copper plates. And this copper plates right now is just going to be used for our personal use, not for a recipe from down here, like for an automated recipe or anything. It's just going to be for our personal use in our hand crafting. Inventory crafting is what I'm talking about. So we're going to just wall this off here and find a way to actually, now that we've got some of the plates, we're going to build some gun turrets. But at some point in the future, I'm going to place some gun turret down there, as well as one on each entrance for our base, except for the Zircon mining depot, just because it's so far away and they haven't really been coming at that area. So I just don't think it's too big of a deal at the moment. But anyway, we're crafting those gun turrets. I just went ahead and hopped in our little workbench there to, make the crafting go a little bit faster. You see, it still says we have 1 minute of crafting time left, so it definitely gets done a whole lot quicker in that workbench. We're going to place the gun turret down here, and I'm just going to make 10 rounds of ammo, or magazines of ammo, for each gun turret, and place them in each gun turret. And then we find out pretty quick that these things are very useful, and that one there I just placed actually manages to fight off a good bit of the biters that come to attack us here in the next wave. We'll place one here to kind of block that conveyor belt opening to the Zircon, and also that opening I made to get down here to the lead facility. I'm going to place one more down here at the lead facility, and I actually place it in a pretty not very good spot here. So I actually have to go back later and fix that and move it to another spot, because where it's at right now, the biters can still attack us pretty well and destroy that whole base because of the start coming from that southwestern corner. Since that is now the farthest part away from the center of our base, and it's very not very well defended, that's an easy place for them to attack, so that's where they attack from. But we're now going to watch this here. We completed the Better Base Defense quest. I just clicked complete on that. Place down the solar panels we picked up to give us a little bit extra power if we ever need it, and it also will keep us from burning as much coal, reducing some of our pollution. We're now going to work on the greenhouse research, which is what we're going to be spending the rest of our time on, is the research for those greenhouses. Every time that it pops up in the bottom saying our enemies have expanded, I check it just to make sure that it doesn't get into the wrong spot. But anyway, right now we're going to set up a quick copper mining facility inside our base for this small vein of copper here, so that we can actually use that copper to make these blank tech cards. I'm going to hydrate real quick while we're crafting there. So we're going to place down a mining depot with a couple drones like we have been for everything else at the moment. And we're going to pick up that copper so that we can have what we need there. So in order to make those blank tech cards, we need a copper wire, and I believe it's iron plates to make the blank tech cards. So we have to first, so I set it all the way over there because that gives us more space for actually automation and stuff. So they will pick up from the hole. You saw the area from that whole vein of the copper. So now I'm going to set up the copper plate smelting areas here, give them some coal. Then I'm going to put a couple of inserters into it and out of it, just like we do with everything else. Put it into some buffer chests there to allow for extraction of copper plates for ourselves if we need them. Also to go to somewhere else in the future if we need it. Of course, all of this will have to be destroyed and recreated to allow for a better base construction and more flow. Because at the moment it's just kind of, we're just building what we need, where we need it at the time to conserve resources. But at some point we'll have plenty of resources to be able to rebuild this the way we need it for an actual assembly line. So you see I used our long-handed inserter there because I had one extra from one of the bases, the abandoned bases we picked up. Now we're going to build a little smallest or big assembler there, and that's going to be, I accidentally clicked the wrong thing, a blank tech card assembler. We need iron plates and copper wire. So now I'm going to just come over here and take one line out of this, one inserter out of this bottom chest here of iron plates and run it over to our copper or our blank tech card factory. You see we ran out of underground belts right there. So now we're just going to bring it right over here next to the factory, put an inserter going into that assembler there. And now that'll make blank tech cards. Then we're going to place another one of those assemblers down, along with running these automation cores into it to make the automation tech cards, which are the only tech cards we really need at this moment. We're just going to put those on the same belt as the iron plates and just run an inserter off of that belt to get these tech cards the way we need to. So set the recipe up, put an inserter in between the two assembling machines, but also a long-handed inserter here to grab the automation cores off of the belt. I finagle around with the power just a little bit here to try and be the most efficient I possibly can be. Alright, so now we've got automation tech cards being built. We're going to put them on a conveyor belt over here just temporarily and run them down to our burner labs. Down here, of course, once we get electric labs, we will definitely be rebuilding this whole area and rebuilding all of this onto a main bus system. So I don't have quite enough space in between the labs and the barricades to allow for an inserter to pick up these tech cards, so I instead decided to just build a little small area of an alcove here in the barricades to allow for that to happen. And now we're going to run that underground belt, run these automation cards into the labs, and now all 4 of our labs will be receiving automation tech cards. And I looked through the production, so we click that off. I looked through the production screen here in a minute, and just to see what our potential is, and it actually says we're only making 1.5 automation tech cards a minute. But it says we're making 0, or we have the potential to make 0 blank tech cards or basic tech cards per minute, but we already know we're making more than that because we have enough to supply our research. So it's really not that slow. So yeah, I don't know why it says 0 for that and only 1.5 for the other, but it's definitely working pretty well. I also just look over our total consumed and produced numbers, just because I was interested in those numbers. So if y'all are interested, here's those numbers there for you to look at as well. You can pause the video and read them. So now we're just restocking everything with coal once again. And I accidentally picked up some tech cards because I ran out of coal. we're just going to put all the coal in here that we possibly can to get everything repowered, basically. Refueled is the word I'm looking for. Refueled. So that's what we're doing here. Just a second, readjusting my chair here. We're also going to have to come down there and refuel our copper and lead furnaces down there. We pick up the lead plates so we can then continue to make more ammo and stuff just by hand at the moment. That'll definitely be something to automate in the future. And we probably next episode I will try to automate that, because for those of you curious, I record these videos here, the voiceovers. I record the voiceover the next day after recording the video, and then I record the video after recording the previous day's voiceover. So that way, if I'm saying something in this voiceover, you can pretty well expect the next episode to follow along whatever lines I've spoken in the voiceover, because, well, I'm recording the voiceover the same day as the next video. So yeah, we've got just kind of putting some more miners in different things because we were running low on coal to restock everything, so I went ahead and put a couple more miners. Trying to watch the map to see where are these biters coming from that are supposed to be attacking us, and I don't think I find them on the map. I instead have to watch for the thing to say, hey, that turret just fired, you know, and see what happens from that. So I go down to walk down this way and then find out, hey, there were only a couple there. The rest of them are attacking our lead factory over there, and they're actually destroying a lot of stuff. So I have to rush over there to help the turret out, because the turret runs low on ammo pretty quick. Because 10 magazines is not a lot. It actually did fend off a good bit of biters, but I started to repair the base, and I didn't even realize it, but there's still a bunch more biters coming to attack us at this location down here. So we just have to be careful, watch out for this. I start to make some more ammo because I don't realize there's still more biters coming through. I start to replace the stuff that was broken, and now there's biters, see, so I have to then fight off these biters. I go down here to see if I can't get rid of the rest of them, but I don't see any more, so I leave them alone. And I think there's still some more that come and attack us. But I try to set this up for lead again, restock the drones, and I'm deciding to move the turret because I'm like, oh hey, the turret needs to be somewhere else, because they're coming from this corner, and that would be the best place for the turret. And so for some reason, guys, just right there where the I don't know if you heard that noise, but it's just like a machine gun firing off. For some reason, when the drones are attacked, the ore piles just like do that. Like you can see it right there. It's just making that loud noise. I just don't understand why. But anyway, it might be having something to do with the rampant mod combining with this other mod together. But that's okay. So I reset up the turret down here to protect us in the best way possible, and it actually is managing to fend off most of them while still taking some damage, but it's doing pretty well. Better than, or about as good as the other ones are, so I'm not too worried about it. So I will obviously be here to, at the moment, to help protect the rest of these things from more biters. So I come down here and look and see, can I see where the rest of these biters are, if there are any more. I don't see any, so we're going to leave it alone. So now we're going to come over here, go back up to our base. The main base at least. Check for damages. I don't think there was any. We've researched greenhouses, but we now have to place greenhouses. And unfortunately, in order to build greenhouses, because I look at the wood, we need some more greenhouses. We need some greenhouses placed. I look at the recipe for the greenhouses, we need glass. And glass is something that we have to get by crushing stone into sand and then smelting sand into glass with tin. And unfortunately, you need tin for the beginning recipe, but it does get better later on once you complete more research with other tech cards. But we don't have access to that at the moment, so for now we have to crush the stone into sand, then take the sand and smelt it into glass by using tin ingots along with the sand. So We're going to set up the crusher real quick and crush some sand up, and then I place the furnace down, and then I realize, oh wait, I need 10 ingots, so that's going to be one of our next things to set up. You need sand, alumina, and 10 ingots to make glass. So I'm going to create some quests here. We're going to talk about tin, set up tin mining. Then I'm going to set up glass because we need glass, automate glass production. Then we're going to make a quest because both of those have to happen before we get greenhouses. Then before we get the research logistics tech cards, we need a couple more things. So I take it and I look at the quest and I say, okay, these need electronics, which needs graphite, plastics, that needs foundries, that needs all these different states. So we need to get graphite production, and we need to get plastic production. So that's going to be what we're working on in the next episode, is the tin for the glass for the greenhouses, and then to move on. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. This is me signing off, and I've been producing videos. Thanks for watching.